Dr. Tammy here. I did a video last night on, I think I called it 7 Reasons Not to Take a Multivitamin, and the lighting was terrible, so I promised everybody that I would redo that tonight. But I kind of condensed it down a little bit because that was a little long, so I want to share with you 5 reasons why you might not want to take a multivitamin. So just going to share that with you. What's wrong with a multivitamin? Well, you know, it's interesting. In medicine, I've heard so many doctors tell people, if you eat healthy, you don't need to take supplements. So what's the difference? What is a vitamin? Well, supplements are basically things that your body needs that maybe your body doesn't need and or doesn't get. And so there are some essential things that you have to get through your diet, like glucosamine and things for your joints, because your body can't make that. So there are some essential things that you have to take in dietarily. Well, it is hard to get some of those things. Like, it's hard to get enough iodine. It's hard to get enough magnesium, even if you eat a lot of vegetables, because the soil is so depleted. So I truly believe that you do need supplements. So how do you know what supplements you need? Well, supplements are vitamins. You would die without vitamins. Vitamins are the fat-soluble and the water-soluble vitamins, like B and C are all water-soluble. The fat-soluble are like A, D, and E, and K. Well, why is that important? Because the fat-soluble vitamins can actually get toxic and build up. B vitamins, water-soluble vitamins like B and C, if you get too much, you'll just pee it out. So, you know, you can't get toxic on those. So that's really important. So you can take vitamins as supplements. You can take minerals. Minerals are really important, like calcium and magnesium. And you can also take things like amino acids and proteins. So all of those are supplements. And then there are what we call medical foods. So those are foods that basically have all these different supplements in them, like, you know, like I have a company called Metagenics that has like diabetic medical foods and things like that in there, which can sometimes be like protein bars or protein shakes. So you can do those medical foods as well as supplements. So sometimes people get this confused and they think vitamins are supplements. Vitamins are only one type of supplement. So how do you decide what supplements you need? Well, one is to get tested. So I'm really healthy, I don't hurt, you know, I fixed everything pretty much in my body that was wrong, and I take my hormones and keep those balanced. But I did some hair follicle testing, which we can do in our office, and I found that I was deficient in some different amino acids and different things. So that can be really valuable. Also, just a basic, usually in our office we check for vitamin D, vitamin B12, some of the iron, the more basic things. So that can be really important too. So you want to, like, if you're healthy, you might want to get some testing done to see maybe if you're deficient or not getting something in so that something, disease doesn't happen, or maybe if you don't feel good, then you might need some supplements. And everything is either a vitamin or a mineral or amino acid deficiency. If you have some sort of something that's not working in your body right, you hurt, inflammation, pain, autoimmune, anything like that. So inbox me if you have any questions, and if you have specific things, I can tell you specific things to take for different things that might be showing up. But in this video, I'm going to keep it really simple, so I'm not going to go through all the different protocols for things that might be showing up in your life that you might be deficient in. So supplements, okay. So it's better, of course, to get it through whole foods, but it's hard to get a lot of those nutrients even if you eat really healthy. So there's that. Also, synthetic versus natural. Much better to take natural, of course, and I'm going to talk a little bit about something called MTHFR in a minute. So synthetic folic acid is not the same thing as folate, and it can actually be detrimental. So I'll talk about that in just a minute. So synthetic, no good. Just like synthetic hormones, not good. You want the natural stuff. And then also, there are different isomers and things. Isomers like hand, so right or left. Like, you might see like on amino acids like L-arginine or like L-methylfolate. That's the isomer that fits in your body. So also, it's important to empower yourself, do a little research, and I can help you if you have questions, just let me know. But you want to get the right form, in the natural form, and you want to match to any deficiencies that you might have. Of course, you want to get it through your food if you can, and then if you're deficient, you want to get it through supplements, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why you might not want to take multivitamin. Well, number 1 is sugar. You ever seen like Flintstones vitamins, those gummies? They're terrible. Some even have artificial sweeteners in them. Absolutely terrible. So you gotta watch sugar. Also, a lot of these have things like fillers they're supposed to have. I think it was Walmart, Walgreens, and Target. They all got in a bunch of trouble because they were carrying this brand that when they tested it, didn't even have what they said was supposed to be in it. I think it was St. John's wort, ginseng, and some other. And they tested it, and it was like, when they tested it through the independent labs, it said that that ingredient wasn't even detectable. So fillers, non-detectable ingredients, just cheap stuff. You don't want to just get cheap stuff, because not only could it be not helping you, but it could be detrimental. A lot of fillers can be things like gluten, and I just did a video on gluten, so if you want to go watch that, if you don't know what gluten is, soy, dairy, eggs, all sorts of different things can be in this filler, so you want to watch out for that. And then, just kind of different cheap ingredients, and it's not really the good stuff, and it might be synthetic stuff. Also one thing is like with your B12s, it's very interesting because if you've seen the root word for B12, you'll see cyanocobalamin a lot. And cyanocobalamin, actually that is cyanide. Crazy, right? If a little cyanide's okay, like a little arsenic's okay. So that's a cheap version. The reason they chelate, and a chelator is just something that they attach to the molecule. This is the B12. So it increases the shelf life. So that's why cyanocobalamin will still be B12 3 years from now, as it is today. But if you use the good stuff like methylcobalamin, that's expensive. Shelf life is not as long, so it doesn't last as long. But this is going to do you much more good than that. In just a minute, when I talk about MTHFR, I'll kind of explain what that methyl is. So you want to make sure that you get good stuff. Number 2, check my notes here. Sometimes too much or too little of certain ingredients like calcium. So what's the problem with calcium? We need calcium. We need to supplement with calcium, right? Because we don't want to break the bone. Well, the problem with calcium is that if you don't have enough vitamin D, which I highly recommend you get checked for, and you don't have enough estrogen, even if you're a male, because males need estrogen to put the calcium into the bones, then calcium can accumulate in other places where it's not supposed to be, like in arteries, which can then cause a blockage, which can then cause a heart attack. So taking these things out of balance can be a problem. So I definitely recommend that women, especially after menopause, supplement with calcium, but only if they have their vitamin D and their estrogen levels regulated. So that's very, very important. If you're just taking a bunch of calcium and a multivitamin or whatever the case may be, that could be a problem. Also, things like iron. If you get too much iron, that can cause iron overload, which can be a problem. So unless you're a menstruating female or having menstrual cycles, you probably don't need iron, but iron deficiency can cause your hair to fall out. It can cause restless leg syndrome. So if you have low iron, definitely get tested. But iron is not something that I would just take without getting tested. So iron is very important, but iron can actually compete with things like copper and zinc. And you can actually get imbalances in copper and zinc, which are very important for making testosterone. Testosterone is the hormone that helps us have energy and libido and all that good stuff, build muscle. And so if you have too much zinc or too much copper, it can throw the balance off, and then you'll get a copper deficiency, so that's not good. So you don't want just a hodgepodge of all this stuff thrown together, and some of these things will actually compete for each other. So if it's in your multivitamin, you're not even getting that. So to that point of you're not even getting it because they're competing for absorption, is get tested for leaky gut. I've done a video on leaky gut. If you're not absorbing these vitamins, you're wasting your money anyway. So why spend your money on it and spend your money on a good quality one if you're not absorbing it anyway? So you got to heal that gut. So we talked about B6. This is really B6 is one that can cause neuropathy if you get too much. And I actually did this one time. I was taking a bunch of different supplements, and I wasn't adding up the amount of B6 that I was getting in all these different supplements. And I started getting this numbness, this tingling on my fingers and my feet, and it was horrible. I couldn't even hold a pen sometimes. So you have to really watch that. So that can absolutely be a problem. And then number 3 would be, let's talk a little bit about synthetic versus natural. So here's a problem, and this is going to tie in with, so of course you don't want synthetic, but this is going to tie in with what's called MTHFR. So it was kind of cute. responded with the MTHFR, and I said, you get the golden prize ticket, the Willy Wonka factory or whatever, because you got that right. So one of the problems is people who have this, and this stands for methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase. It's just a big word for an enzyme that allows you to process your B vitamins and do something called methylate. Well, I mentioned this methylcobalamin here. This methyl group acts like trash bags. So with this methyl group, basically all your vitamins, you need methyl groups to help detox and clear things out of methylate. And so what happens in MTHFR, this is a genetic enzyme deficiency, and you can't clear certain toxins. And if you have this, folic acid, which everybody thinks is the same thing as folate, is not. Folic acid accumulates as something called homocysteine. So this could actually kill you. Homocysteine is very inflammatory. It can cause heart attacks and strokes. It can cause miscarriages. So if you know anybody who's had fertility issues, this could be a big deal. And there's so much folic acid in everything. So even if you're taking supplements right now, highly recommend you go through your cabinet, look through everything, and if there's folic acid, you might consider not taking that. Now, not everybody has this genetic defect, but a large population, part of the population does, and we think it's upwards towards 60%. So, pretty good chance, especially if you have problems or you're sick or you have autoimmune or diseases that you do have this, and you can't clear folic acid. So do not take multivitamin if it has folic acid in it. So that's really important. And then number 5, I changed this around yesterday, so this is all just a little bit different, and I actually had calcium different from these other things. So I just want to say that this balance is really, really important, and that things like vitamin D can actually, it's fat soluble, you can actually get toxic on these things. So you need to add up the amount. So if you're taking multiple supplements for multiple reasons, keep a tally of how much vitamin D is in all sorts of different things. Keep a tally of how much B6 is in everything. Because you can actually get side effects that show up. Here I was taking the supplements thinking everything's good, this is what I need, I'm getting all this B6 and I'm getting this weird neuropathy. And so I didn't even think that it was my supplements, but I had to go back and look at what I was taking. So educate, empower yourself about this. It's very, very important. I am going to say what I want to leave you with is that if you feel like you don't eat that healthy and you really just want a multivitamin, you really want something that has the best of the best, I have 2 suggestions for you. One is, I love the company Metagenics, and you can go to www.metagenics.com, and they have a product called Phyto Multi, and they have it with or without iron. And this is a completely blended, the coppers, the zincs, everything is just perfectly blended. I've never seen anything else like it. So I love it. So if you're a menstruating female having periods, then you'll probably want to go with iron. If you're a child, probably want to go with iron. If you're an adult male, probably without the iron. They make a Phyto Multi for kids. Absolutely love this. So this is a great product if you want just a multivitamin. It has folate in it, so you don't have to worry about the folic acid thing. So this is a done deal. You have to have a medical license to order from Metagenics. So if you want to order from them, my code is TTUCKER, T-Tucker, and that's the practitioner code. You just plug that in. Now there are some places that sell on the internet Metagenics, but that's because they have accounts. If you want to order directly from them, no, you have to have that practitioner code. So they can auto ship this. I take Phyto Multi, I take it with iron. I get it shipped to me every month. So one of the reasons that my iron is low is because sometimes I don't absorb as well because I've kind of had issues with leaky gut. I've got that mostly healed up, but I've had a lot of chronic issues throughout my life, so I have to be really careful. And not too much of a meat eater, so I don't get a whole lot of iron, but I test my iron and I see what I need. So if you are not testing your iron, then I probably get it without the iron. So you don't want to get too much iron. So I love, love, love this product. The other product I'll tell you about, the other thing that I take every single day, and I take a couple of other things because I'm prone to inflammation and I'm prone to low magnesium. So I take fish oil and magnesium every day and vitamin D because a lot of people love vitamin D. So and I've been tested, so I watch my levels. But we have something called the metabolic path. And what I did in my research was I found that unless you're eating a lot of seaweed or kelp or something like that, you're probably deficient in iodine. I could do a whole talk just on iodine and what happened with the bread, and now they put it in the salt. So if you're avoiding salt, you're probably not getting the iodine. There's omega-3s in there, which are very important for inflammation and heart health. So if you're achy, omegas are really important. There's chromium in there, and chromium helps with your insulin, which is your sugar storage hormone, which is wonky when you're gaining weight. There's a little bit of vitamin D, not a lot, because I didn't want you to get overdosed on that if you haven't had levels checked. There's magnesium in there, because most people are deficient in magnesium, so I love magnesium. And then there's your methylated vitamins, your trash bags, right? So you can trash up your toxins. Methyl B12s and methylfolates and a couple other B vitamins in there. So I love, love, love this product. If you're interested in that, you can see me at the office if you're already a patient of mine. If not, you can go to betterlivingrx.com/supplements. And you can order right on the website there if you want. So I absolutely love this. It's not a cheap product, but I use really quality ingredients in the company I use. I researched for years all of this stuff. And so people are asking me, well, if I'm not taking a multivitamin, what at the very basics, what do I need that I'm probably not getting in my diet even if I eat pretty healthy? So I was like, this is it. So if you went and just bought fish oil alone, you could pay anywhere towards $60 just for that. So I don't even know what it is. You can see it on the website, but it's, if you broke this down and you bought all those ingredients, that really means a lot. So didn't do this video just to sell supplements, but I wanted to tell you that you probably don't need a multivitamin if you're taking things separately. Get tested, try to get it through foods. But if you do, and you do want a multivitamin, you feel like you need it, or testing shows that you need different things, and you want to maximize that in as fewest pills as possible, that's an option. The metabolic pack is absolutely an option. So I highly recommend those. So don't take cheap stuff. Watch those fillers. Make sure there's good quality. Make sure your companies are actually testing and that this stuff is in there that they say it is, and in the right amounts that your body needs. So empower yourself, educate yourself. So, so important. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a blessed night. Please stay tuned. We have so much coming for you. We're starting a show on a nationally syndicated TV station here soon. So I'm so excited about that. And just exciting things and just more YouTube messages. So I'll keep posting these questionnaires. You guys respond, and